Hi, my name is Richard Crawford, host of Supply and Demand, an enlightening webcast show where we delve into the dynamic world of the global supply chain and where we navigate through the complexities, disruptions and innovations that shape the vital network of interconnected businesses. From sourcing raw materials to delivering finished products, we'll uncover the challenges that arise at each stage and explore strategies for optimizing efficiency and sustainability. And each week, we'll highlight and discuss a specific supply chain topic. And of course, I'm joined each week by my co-host and CEO of the Atlas Network and author of Supply Chain Ups and Downs and host on a ton of TV shows, financial shows, everything that I've seen on TV lately, Mr. Kerim Kfuri.
Richard, how are you, my friend? I feel like every time we get together that it's just not enough. I feel like I haven't seen you or talked to you in a while, although it's only been a few weeks, but
it is a crime. It is a crime to not to see me for a while and not to speak to me. It's an absolute crime.
And man, let me tell you, talking about today's topic, how the world continues to change in that in-between time that we don't see each other. The government shutdown, for how long, nobody knows. It's not like there isn't enough going on in the world right now or within our country right now that we don't need on top of it, the government shutting down.
Right.
And man, I look at this and I say to myself, there's so many reverberating effects that happen because of this, right?
Yeah.
So for example, people's access to certain, government-backed areas of healthcare, right? The ability to do things like travel, TSA officers, things like that, the post office and so forth. And a lot of these will still be carrying on, although people are getting furloughed or they're doing it as unpaid work. But as it relates to, let's say, supply chain and supply and demand and everything that we talk about, many people don't realize that the customs process, CBP, right? Customs Border Protection, is run by the government to collect those fees and the tariffs and everything else and the duties. And if those folks aren't showing up to work or aren't getting paid to come to work, then guess what? Nothing clears customs. Nothing gets through the ports. Nothing gets delivered to facilities and warehouses. And when that happens, goods don't show up on shelves or they get really expensive because of supply and demand, or they get very delayed. And for all of those reasons, something like this, like the government shutdown, directly correlates to global supply chain and our domestic supply chain. So that was my little note I want to say about today's topic. I don't know your thoughts on it, but I find that fascinating.
Yeah, United States, if you give the analogy of the toppling dominoes, United States is the very first domino, right, in that whole thing. So that topples over and there's nothing going on. The whole, like you said, it's global. The whole world's affected. It's not just the United States that shuts down. Everything that's coming in from everywhere else. Also, I like the way you say duties. You say the duties. Well, look, let's move along. Let's bring in our next guest. Because we're very excited to have Tsvetta Kaleynska as an entrepreneur and author and international thought leader in AI market research, social listening, and digital transformation. She's the founder of RILA Global Consulting, a New York-based consumer research and market research agency that combines advanced social listening with innovative analytics to help Fortune 500 companies and global brands uncover insights that drive strategy, innovation, and measurable business impact. And Tsvetta also advises the European Commission on high-impact technology startups, and she's a recognized advocate for women's empowerment mentoring on entrepreneurs worldwide through programs like NASDAQ Mentor Makers and Girls Leading Our World, GLOW. Her expertise and research has been featured in Forbes, the Associated Press, Bloomberg TV, and now the Supply and Demand Show. Very warm welcome, Tsvetta.
Thank you so much for having me. Good to see you guys.
Good to have you, and always great to be with you. And we had a great time where we first met face to face in Las Vegas at Alibaba Co-Create a couple of weeks back. And Tsvetta and I said, hey, you know what? We need to talk more because we're sort of crossing over each other's similar circles. Yeah. We both do a lot of commentating, of course, for a New York Stock Exchange and some of the different broadcasts. And she has such a fascinating part to play within the global economy and within global supply chain. And, I'm going to let you say it in your own words, Tsvetta, to explain to the audience a little bit about what your main focus and goal is. But, honored to have you here with the show and to have you with us today.
Thank you both for having me. I am so happy to be here and be also introduced to the supply chain audience. I think that's probably an audience that I'm not too familiar with, because while I interact with the global economy touch points when it comes to consumers, I definitely don't interact directly with anything that has to do with supply chain. So it's a different type of world that I'm in. But actually, while Richard was reading my bio, I almost went like, whoa, like, okay.
I did say, whoa.
I was like, this is so complex. I mean, it sounds great, but in reality, at the end of the day, it's like, what is the takeaway? Who is this person? So I think the easiest way for me to introduce myself is to actually say that I come to help brands analyze consumers. As easy as that. And how I do that is by leveraging publicly available data sources that are analyzed compliantly, again, within the compliant limits and rates. And we come in to help our brand clients understand what type of marketing or sales or penetration strategies they should adopt for upcoming campaigns, for upcoming years, upcoming quarters, or any type of product. So really what I do is I analyze consumers, consumer sentiment, consumer opinion, and also I think that maybe I could somehow predict trends or have a pulse on what's coming up. But I say that as a maybe because I can't definitely claim it with certainty.
Well, I mean, the reality of it is that what you just said couldn't be more intertwined with supply chain, because in the end, the whole supply chain is reliant upon consumers. It is all about what consumers want, are getting, when, how, whether it's trend or price or scarcity or whatever it may be. And without the consumer, the entire supply chain doesn't exist or breaks down. If consumers stop buying, there's no reordering and manufacturing, so on. If they need to buy, then you need to build new supply chains to support this. So in the end of the day, what you are talking about and what you do is essential for the supply chain, because the most important part of all the links of the supply chain is the end consumer. So, I mean, for all of those reasons, that's why I think it's fascinating what you do and how it plays into the things that, at least at my company, we do. So I think that's very, very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, sorry, go ahead, Richard.
I'm curious, Phil. So we had a conversation with, is it Mary Kay? Who's the makeup company who gives out
Mary Kay.
Mary
Kay.
So we had a conversation with a lady who was their marketer, and they had a situation where they continued to, they thought they knew their consumer until somebody got on TikTok and did this video of a product that they provide. Then that product sold out in like minutes, and they couldn't, and then the regular customers who wanted to get it couldn't get it. So that's something I guess you have to be on top of when it comes to consumer sentiment, right? Is there an occasion where that's happened for some of your clients?
Oh, absolutely. And they haven't been able to meet the supply or basically the demand that the consumers have. Yes, we do see that often, although I have to say most of my clients are in super regulated industries. So we don't see that every day. But yeah, when it comes to understanding marketing and how to talk to the consumers, like whenever you're launching a campaign, you always have to be ready. And with product-based companies that sell especially to wider audiences, so it could be obviously any gender or any age demographic, what I've seen across my portfolio of clients has been that they just, if you want to be successful, you always have to have a lot in stock, and just be ready to listen. And when I say to listen, I mean to listen online what consumers want and also what possibly the trends that you could jump on could be. So you could be in a TikTok and a viral post and all of your products sell out within 15 minutes or so. But it's a very tricky industry to be in, because now we live in this digital world And you mentioned Mary Kay, which is such a legacy brand.
Right.
If you think when Mary Kay actually started and how they didn't have social listening when Mary Kay started. They had women knocking on the doors of, the neighbor and telling them about the product.
The original social media.
Correct.
That was the original social media.
Yes.
It was like, we're going to be social and we're going to knock on doors and market. That was the beginnings of it.
And if you think about that point, same one, that was almost a market research survey, but done in person and done at the same time, where you basically could collect that feedback from your customers directly, but could also act as the sales associate, which I think is also why the brand had the legacy. And it still to this day, I think, has the legacy that it does, is because of the army of sales women and maybe men who were there to support and collect the feedback and make the product better and understand how to really penetrate deeply into the day-to-day of their users. But I now come in 2025 and I do that within seconds. I don't have to go and knock on anyone's door.
Tsvetta, so it's fascinating what you do, because ultimately what you're doing is looking at mass psychology. Like you're looking at mass psychology, which, by the way, if you apply that to day trading, you'd probably be amazing at it. You'd probably be, because that's all day trading is, right? It's this mass of people thinking one way and buying or selling, and then that turns to a mass of people thinking another way and buying or selling. So you'd probably be really good at it. Just a little side note.
As mentioned, we do work with highly regulated industries, so I cannot share obviously which ones, but as you can imagine, we can understand the consumer and whether a product will be successful for companies or not. Yeah. The finance aspect, like mergers and acquisitions as well. When companies are about to purchase another, you can't just look at the numbers that you're given by the board. Right. You have to actually go and do almost like a pulse check out there. I mean, is that what consumers really want? Like, will they prefer your brand versus another?
Right. Yeah.
I could go on and on about how incredible it is. I mean, again, it's important to say that there is massive amounts and tons of data out there, pretty much on any topic, but it's not about the amount, it's about the quality of the data. And again, it's about being able to compliantly understand and ethically understand what the consumers really want and help the brand shape their strategies around that exact psychological and physical desire that they have. So it is a science.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, Tsvetta, so far we've been easy on you, right? So now
here comes the hard part, Tsvetta.
Here comes the hard part. It's the hot seat segment. So in this segment, we're going to ask you 3 questions, and you're going to answer them as close to 5 minutes total as you possibly can. Whether you're under a little, over a little, that's okay. I will tell you, somebody is within a second, right, Kerim, our previous guest?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to answer 3 questions within 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes for the 3 questions. And but you're a pro, so we expect very, very good results.
All right, are you ready? You're in the hot seat. Are you feeling it?
I feel it.
All right, here we go. I'm going to start the stopwatch now. All right, so question 1, what's something most executives believe about consumers that your data routinely disproves?
Oh, very easy. Most executives, I believe, make and have the assumption that consumers make decisions based on price. That's incorrect.
Wow, let
me just phrase it this way: as close to 5 minutes as possible, not necessarily like in 30 seconds for all 3 questions.
But you know what? I don't know if there's a better answer to that. No matter how much you elaborate,
no, it's very tight.
To be honest, that's a really good answer.
We're helping you, by the way, by talking in between to give you more time. So I'll give you the second question. Take your time with it.
Okay.
Give your 30-second crisis playbook, not in 30 seconds though. When a safety or PR issue spikes online, your first 3 actions and the time to action target.
Beautiful. So first and foremost, you always have to detect the issue. I would put 15 minutes in the detection area. So that will give you enough time to basically activate listening tools, dive deeper into any spikes that there are, and basically understand what the issue is. Second key action you have to do is actually the assessment piece, which I always give myself about 20 minutes. I mean, again, this is a PR crisis, so you have to act fast. So 20 to 30 minutes tops for the assessment piece. And this is really to give the analyst almost like enough time to brief the executive leadership and collect enough data for the executive leadership to be able to understand sentiment, reach levels, basically priorities and where they should focus on when it comes to issuing the messaging. And then the third one is, of course, the response part, which is within 60 minutes of the crisis beginning. So it's a very short time frame, but the reaction and response time is very important. It's really meant to, this is your time to deploy all of the action and strategies that you're preparing for as a brand, and acknowledge any of the concerns that have been raised during the crisis. Again, commit to transparency, or cover your bases on whatever issue it is. But it's not only about issuing the external comms. This is also where executives also have to think about internal comms as well.
All right. So you're literally halfway there. So you've got 2.5 minutes. We're giving you a little help here. All right. So third question. It's almost two questions actually. What belief you held about consumers in 2022 have you changed your mind about? And the second part to that is what triggered the change?
Oh, a great question. Thank you for that. So back a few years ago, I actually believed that consumers separated brand and purpose when they were shopping. So whether they would go and just purchase a specific product because it said the brand name on it versus if they were shopping for a product that has a specific purpose and that's the only reason that they bought the product. Later in the years, and especially in the last, I'd say 2 years, what I've come to realize through my experience with working with global, international, large and small brands is that actually consumers care very much about the holistic picture of the product. So there has to be the brand, the messaging, the purpose of the product, the ethics behind the product, and also behind the brand leadership. And that is the best formula that also brands can have to escape from inflationary issues and headaches or concerns, and just to maintain a healthy revenue and consistent growth.
So you've got just over a minute. What about a brand that is what about a product that's a brand, but people don't even associate that there's any other brand? I'm trying to think of an example. Like Brillo, let's say Brillo pad, right? A Brillo pad. You call every pad a Brillo pad.
Yeah. How do you basically differentiate yourself?
Yep.
Well, that's where you have multiple ways that marketers and tools that marketers deploy. And those are, well, you could try to associate yourself with, now we call them influencers.
Right.
So identifying a pack or a pack of people, a group of people that are as close to who your audience is and like basically who your audience trusts when it comes to like the griddle that they'd like to buy. The second method that a lot of marketers use is trying to find some differentiator, because in the US, I'm sure audiences may or may not know, but in the US, it is technically legally allowed to point out that your product is better than another product with XYZ differentiator. So you can say our griddles handle, for example, or I don't know what other attributes griddles really have. I should ask my husband about that. But trying to find that key unique differentiator in order to make that product stand out. I mean, this is where Kerim would probably come and say, and why not make a pink griddle? And you have the only unique pink griddle for a brand new audience that you could unlock.
All right. I'm going to stop it right there. We went just a little over, about 20 seconds over, but it was worth it. It was worth it to get that answer, because I was really curious about that. So well done.
Good job. Way to go.
Honestly, Tsvetta, if we'd left it up to you, you'd have been done in a minute. So.
I think less, honestly. I think the first question was done in 5 seconds, probably. You know what? We probably need to add or change a certain segment of the show on the fastest answer a question, and Tsvetta would win, hands down.
You would just get one word answers.
We got one more question for you here.
Yeah, we do. We got a little surprise question.
Yes, so here it is. We have a segment here called The Last Drop. If you were to have a coffee or a drink with anybody, alive or not alive, today, who would it be and why?
Oh, well, I think that's an easy one. I am in my era of Emma Grede, so I'm not sure whether you guys are familiar with Emma Grede. She is a British-born CEO who's currently in LA and running actually the Kardashian empires and more. She is a complete genius when it comes to the creation of products, marketing of products and services, and she's incredibly successful. She's also a mom of 4 kids. Bless her. So,
Wow.
yeah, exactly. And she's running multi-billion-dollar companies right now, including actually she's co-founder of Skims and a few others. So if I had my last drop of coffee or maybe champagne, it would be with Emma Grede for sure.
Very cool. Very cool answer. I don't know how people do it. I have a friend who is a partner at a law firm. He has 4 kids, 2 cats and 2 dogs, and he just told me he's starting to run like 50K. I was like, where do you get the time? Like, how do you do it? So,
beyond me, honestly. I'm only with 2 kids, and I feel like every day of the existence is just, it's not even in the building mode, it's more in the survival mode.
Oh, yes.
My kids.
Those kids will do that for us.
Young kids, yeah.
So, go ahead.
Sorry, Kerim, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Tsvetta, I know that we've got kind of short time here. How can people find out about you and what you're doing and about your company? Can you tell the audience a little bit about that?
Yeah, I always try to stay away from promoting myself because I always feel like there's so much that you can find out about a person and it's not interesting. But I have an amazing team and we have amazing services. Our pages are RILAGlobalconsulting.com and RILA Global Consulting pretty much on any social media. So I'd love to introduce you guys to my team and our services if anyone would like to check them out. Other than that, yeah, if anyone was very interested in finding out more about me, I think you can just Google my first name and you'll find out. Yeah, you'll find out a lot. I've done a lot of SEO on my first name, so there's literally only one of me.
The one and only Tsvetta.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Kerim, what about you? How can people get a hold of you and what are you?
So basically, similar to Tsvetta, our company is theatlasnetwork.com and basically global supply chain management and solutions for anyone who has supply chain challenges or problems. Happy to help make ideas into reality. And outside of that, it's also Kerim Kfuri on all the social media platforms that are out there. And happy to help and happy to impart as much information and knowledge as we can.
It's my turn. Go ahead and watch my show, Leave No Trace TV on Amazon Prime. We just released season 2, so really excited about that. We visited all 7 continents and it was very exciting, and we're currently filming season 3, so look on all the socials for behind the scenes on that at Leave No Trace TV. So thanks, guys. So again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching and listening. Just a reminder that each week we'll have a very special guest on to continue our conversation in the fascinating world of the global supply chain. And don't forget to follow our LinkedIn and YouTube pages at The Supply and Demand Show. See you soon. Thank you, Tsvetta.